Congratulations to all you motocross ticket winners out there who knew that the gap setting, what was it, Robert? .025? No, I didn't ask that question. We just gave them away to the first 3 callers. Go see the motocross at Fulton County Stadium on the 25th. Don't forget to pick up your tickets by 5:30 Friday afternoon for the weekend, okay? And now, ladies and gentlemen, normally we just do an interview with an artist that comes by, but Robert Fripp is a very special guy from King Crimson. He's been the pillar of King Crimson for a long time now, and everybody that knows King Crimson knows Robert Fripp. You'll get to know him just a little better. We started out in an interview situation to sit down, but our imaginative, professional Tom Roach, production director, manager of TV 69, thought it would be neat to go ahead and roll tape while we were watching videos for Fripp, Mr. Fripp and myself, sitting in the studio watching the videos and what they call work footage, I guess. We went ahead and put it together in a nice special for you, Robert Fripp special, rather than just an interview. And thanks to Tom Roach and all the great guys down here at TV 69, we'll get an interesting insight into Mr. Robert Fripp right now on TV 69. Let's check it out.
What's the point of Fripp going to Paris and eat chocolates with John McLaughlin? They didn't know how good they were. Oh, look at that white pasty Fripp.
All right, we'll show a video in between. What are we going to show?
Andy Summers? King Crimson?
Summers and Fripp.
The Oriental Dancing Girls, that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of the videos I've done.
Really?
No. Truffles. Oh, Iris Horowitz, you are close to God.
Did you say you had not seen the Andy Summers video?
Yeah. That's right. I don't.
You have not seen it?
No, I haven't.
Well, then we should figure out a way to put it in here.
Would you like a chocolate truffle? Don't feel you have to say yes, but if you like one, you may. Go on, have a chocolate truffle.
I don't think I've ever had a truffle.
You're just about to live.
What's in the middle? Are they solid chocolate?
They're not like truffles that pigs snort at, but they're truffles. Well, who would like a truffle? Would you like? No. Maybe you'd like to pass them around.
Big Electric Cat there on the Video Music Channel. John Graddick with you, and Adrian Ballou did that one, by the way. And, of course, we've got a good friend of Adrian's right here, Robert Fripp, today.
Hello.
King Crimson on the Video Music Channel. Welcome.
Hello.
You've got a lot of great things happening these days. You came by to tell us about the album, about a tour you've got coming up.
Yes, King Crimson has a new album and a new record. The new album is Three of a Perfect Pair. The record is that it has the same personnel on it as the preceding 2 albums.
So you must be falling in love with this combination in this band.
It grows on you.
Is this going to stay like this for a while?
We have no idea. When we came together, we made a commitment to do 3 albums. And now the commitment with the album is essentially at an end, which gives us the freedom to get together again.
Mm-hmm.
It's far nicer to get together when you don't have to.
Right, right.
But the album is only part of the commitment. The live work which accompanies it, the performance side of the band, is for me the most interesting side of the commitment. There's another factor involved. When you make a record, if someone is listening at home with a record, they only have themselves, the audience, and the music. When you go live, you have the music and the audience, the musician as well, and sometimes the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a number of other relationships which are possible live, which are never possible in record. And I don't know if it's a politic of me to say it, but I think that Crimson is an infinitely better live band than recording band. In the Court of the Crimson King was generally considered the best Crimson album, but even that was only a very distant reflection of what the band was live.
Is it tough, I guess, then to go into a studio and get any live-type energy and convey it to the person that buys the album and listens at home?
It's a different world. It's a different world. It's the difference between writing a letter to a friend and going to see them. Now, writing a letter is an art of its own. and has a level of contact which is relevant for that particular way of doing things. But it's different to actually going out on a date. A love letter and a date are two things. Me, I'd rather go on the date. The love letter's nice, and you can hang on to it, and it brings back nice memories and all the rest. But I'd still rather go on the date.
King Crimson is not really, I would call, a band as much as a concept or an ideal, is it?
For me, Crimson is a way of life. It's a way of doing things. It always was. If music is society of the imagination, if in a musical construct you can put together different kinds of relationships so that they work, if you like, harmoniously, then all the other parts of your life should be constructed and work in the same way. So if your dealings with the industry or with your friends or with people you meet are wildly out of tune and you're claiming to be a musician, there's an incongruity there which I can't handle. Now, Crimson is one of the few constructs which takes that into account, which is why it's excruciatingly difficult to be a member of the band, why it's very, very painful, why it's infinitely rewarding when it works, and why I wouldn't do it for a living.
Do you consider yourself a member or maybe the leader of King Crimson?
Oh, I'm a member of the band. The band as a social and political organism is constructed essentially as an anarchism. It's not quite a democracy where you elect a leader you elect a dictator for a prescribed period. We don't work like that. We're near a genuine functioning anarchy.
Each person puts in the same amount of ideas, guidelines. Do you hand down guidelines for the band?
Yes, what we put in equally is commitment. When the band works really well, it's an anarchism. When it doesn't, it's anarchy. If the commitment is the same, it may be that one person's commitment to a piece of music is to be quiet and do absolutely nothing or next to nothing. On another piece of music, the commitment may be to put in everything that you have. Ideas, energy, enthusiasm, playing, and so on. But if the commitment is there, you can do things.
Strong commitment. Your band seems to have too.
Yeah.
Has your audience changed much? King Crimson, the King Crimson fan through the years. Now with this new.
Why do Americans call the band Crimson?
I guess it's an abbreviated form of the.
Well, we call them Crimson. You see, it's pronounced King Crimson.
Crimson.
We spell it without the P.
I see.
I wonder why Americans put a P in there, Crimson.
Oh, it must be the southern accent. I don't know.
Oh, all right. So you were saying?
Yeah. What was I saying? Fans, yes. Has your the King Crimson fan changed? Age-wise, taste-wise?
We tend to attract earnest young men.
What about the female part of it?
Their girlfriends would rather stay at home, and that's distressing to the band.
You know, something I found out from Iris Horowitz, a nice girl that works with us here, is that you've done some interviews yourself in various music magazines and things like
Iris
this.
Horowitz is close to God.
Maybe we'll explain that in part 2 here. Tell us about some of your interviews you've done for music magazines. Why do you get into that?
All right, there's a number of ways of approaching interviews. From the industrial viewpoint, it's a way of collecting relatively cheap advertising. For me, that's not enough. It's at least offensive if you go to a journalist and say, "Hi, I'm going to say nothing of worth or value for the next couple of hours, and you're going to put this in as many pages as you can in the newspaper to attract attention." That's kind of tacky. So for me, if I agree to do an interview, then it has to be worthwhile in its own right. It has to be worth doing of its own. It doesn't have to be just an advertisement. In the world we live in, where the musician develops a relationship with music and an audience, the professional musician has to go one further. Professional musician has obviously a relationship with the audience and the music, but also with the industry. And part of developing that relationship in an honourable sense, because people in the industry are by and large really nice people who often have got involved because they like music, find themselves relatively hamstrung by money, things like that. So when I go in and do an interview, it's to try and put something of value into the interview, accepting that it's advertising for an album, that's fine, accepting that the guy writing the interview is got to earn a living, that's fine. The magazine wants to earn money, that's fine. But how can you squeeze something in as well? That's my interest in doing an interview.
Does the band King Crimson, or the concept King Crimson, do they compete? Do you guys compete as far as record sales, as far as live performance? Do you find yourself in competition with some of the other popular bands around? Do you consider it competition at all, for that matter? There's a lot of bands out there, Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, that are capturing a young audience. They're out there spending mega bucks on Michael Jackson, Thriller, that type thing.
You mean, do those guys feel they're competing with King Crimson?
Or do you feel like you compete with them?
No, there's no competition at all.
Honest enough. Let's check out the video you did with Summers.
All right, I've never
Mr.
seen
Summers
this.
Fripp. This will be a first for you, I guess. We'll eat some truffles while we watch it.
Oh, good.
And we'll talk about video music with Robert Fripp on the Video Music Channel in just a moment. Advanced Mask. Back on the Video Music Channel with Robert Fripp, our guest today, John Graddick with you. And you pointed out a bum note in that song you said that was on the record.
Yes, there was one of those little details one leaves for the aficionados.
Is that why I was going to ask you, why leave a bum note on a...
Well, no one else noticed, so I left it there for anyone that would.
Are you considered a perfectionist?
By whom?
Well, by yourself, by the industry.
I can't speak for the industry. Myself, no. I accept too many compromises.
How was it working with...
70% of perfection is worth having.
At least. How was it like working with Andy Summers now?
Absolutely fabulous. Andy is a friend as well as someone I work with. We're currently just about to begin a second album together in 3 weeks from today. The video, it was funny seeing the video. I haven't watched it before. That's the first time. We made the album, and I was just about to come to America with Crimson, and Andy phoned up and said, we need to do a video. And I said, I've got an idea. Why don't we get some Oriental dancing girls, scantily clad? And he said, what a great idea. Now, my tongue was firmly in my cheek. It seemed like a silly thing to say. And he said, what a great idea. So I went off on tour and came back and phoned Andy up and said, what are we doing about the video? And he said, I've got the dancing girls. So I went off to London, and there were the dancing girls.
You did this in one day?
Yes, we did it in an afternoon. And it was interesting to see that my eyes weren't on the guitar. I mean, this is a valid part of practicing. I practice in a darkened or completely dark room so that my hands don't rely on visual contact in order to function.
I see.
One of the side benefits of that is that you can look at the Oriental dancing girls on videos and still play at the same time.
How is King Crimson's approach to video? Is it a serious approach? Do you want to go for a real strive for an art form there?
Like pulling teeth, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen the Heartbeat video, which I think you're going to play. I haven't seen the new one, simply because it's not quite finished, but I think will be very good. If you're going to make a video, the band make a video itself, it assumes that it has visual chops and a visual sense as well developed as an oral or musical sense, and that's not necessarily true. Hence a number of groups making genuinely appalling videos, most of which you probably show.
Is it enjoyable?
No, it's a horrible process. It's infinitely more tedious and more wretched than making records.
It's not a challenge maybe to try to match up your video with music that's been
You'd need an awful lot of time and huge amounts of money. For example, to make an album, by and large, the budget on this was around $100,000, which is relatively cheap for a record like this. And most of the others were, half this. So $100,000 is not a huge budget. To make a 3 or 4 minute promotional video in a couple of days, your budget is $40,000 to $50,000.
That's for a one-shot deal.
Yeah, that's mad. That's completely insane. Now, if you're going to say to a group, look, you have over a period of a year to make a record which lasts 40 minutes, why don't you make a 40-minute video? you can kind of calculate the costs involved.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if your particular instrument is video, fine. Otherwise, you tend to go to a good video artist, good video director, producer. We went to Mick Haggerty, and put yourself in his hands. Then he will work with the band, and you see what you come up with.
So it's something you'll just bite the bullet and deal with as it comes?
I take a wry amusement at our involvement in video.
So what would be the ideal video situation? Are you saying more money or more time or?
No video.
No video.
You're talking about a perfect world.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Tell us about the production on this last album. Now, the album before this, you had an outside producer.
Yes, Rhett Davies. We gave him an impossible task, and he did very well in an impossible situation.
So is he back producing this one?
No, we are back producing this one.
Okay. Is there any, you didn't like it, having an outsider produce, it didn't work out well, or you didn't achieve the sound you wanted?
Well, if you're going to make the wrong choice, better that the wrong choice comes from one of the members of the band.
Okay, you've got some touring plans also. King Crimson on the road.
Endlessly, yes. We begin rehearsals on April the 8th in Champaign-Urbana, which is Ernie Ballew's birthday. And I will go along and bite Ernie's young tender flesh.
You're going to be sitting down for this entire tour, I take it?
Yes.
You'll never change that.
I'd like to stand up and play. I'd far rather get up and jump about. But I can't play and jump about.
Great.
So I remain seated.
Concentrate more on the guitar then.
Yes, this is it.
You've got new video coming out from this next album?
Yes, for Sleepless, the single, which I think will be good. It gave Adrian a very heavy infection. One of the bright wheezes of making the musician the actor is to create a water tank that the singer lies in and then emerges from the water tank. Now, the idea is you begin shooting at 3 in the afternoon when the water is hot, because it's heated up in a tea urn, and every time it's hot, it's poured into the tank. But 8 in the evening, when the singer gets immersed in this water, it's really cold, and he got very ill.
How do you go about picking a song to do a video for? Do you guys get together and pick a song off an album, or do you do it with the single that's going to be released?
The consensus on this album was pretty close. The album is divided into 2 sides, not a side 1 and side 2. Simply a left side and a right side. The left side of the album is accessible, and the right side is excessive. So, for those who know Crimson in true Crimson tradition can hit straight on the right side, functioning art, and those who would like to listen, first time round, have some fun the first time round, should switch straight into the left side. And of the accessible, probably the most immediately accessible is Sleepless. So named because we were recording it when we were staying in 2 colonial terraced houses in Woodstock. And you know, if you lived in a house which is fairly old, the people who've lived in the house before tend to stay around even though they've left. They leave at least part of themselves. And the bedroom that I was staying in was like plugging into someone else's mind when I went to sleep. Wild dreams. And Adrian's bedroom, he was terrified. Adrian would leave the light on when he went to sleep and couldn't sleep. He was sleepless and would see images on the ceiling and was terrified. Hence the lyrics to Sleepless, and it's all right to feel a little fear, and the images on the ceiling, and it's over your head, and so on.
I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Good.
Great. I've got something for you. Besides the truffles, we wanted to laden you with gifts here.
All right. I have a confession to make.
What's that?
You
don't like white?
I don't actually wear T-shirts, but
This has a hood on it.
my sister Patricia will go jogging in this. Sister, you're going to get this for Christmas. Thank you very much.
Thanks for
indeed.
stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to hearing the new album. Robert Fripp, King Crimson.
You call me what you like.
Adrian Fripp on the Video Music Channel. Thanks.
Once upon a time, our VMC T-shirts were only given to our visiting music stars. But we kept getting calls and letters from our TV69 viewers asking,
how can I get one of those TV69 T-shirts?
Well, I have to be a long song to get one.
Not anymore. Our TV69 T-shirts are now available to you, our viewers, in 3 different styles.
This fashionably chic footed jersey is only $15.99.
For all you VMC sports fans, this VMC baseball jersey is only $8.99.
Of course, you've got the staple for any rock and roll wardrobe, only $6.99 for the short sleeve t-shirt. And I highly recommend this.
But if you want to be in style.
If you're sensible like I
Now you can have a VMC TV69 t-shirt just like Adam Ant, Jeffrey Osborne, Andre Simone, and every other musical artist who's stopped by the Video Music Channel.
I got mine.
We got ours.
I got mine on TV69. Get yours today. Send check or money order to VMC T-shirt, 2700 Northeast Expressway, Building A, Atlanta, Georgia, 30345. Make sure you specify size and style, small, medium, large, or extra large, and add $2 for postage and handling. Please allow 4 weeks for delivery.